How much should people expect the price of oil to spike from here, do you think?
Well, we've already had it go as high as 20%, Kelly, and I think there's going to be more on the horizon. This is all going to turn now on what the response is, either from Saudi Arabia and or the U.S. To this attack. If this turns into some kind of hot war, we'll have a hell of a lot more higher price to go. If they somehow back down, like the Saudis have been doing for the past year or so now, that they've had and suffered repeated drone attacks and other types of attacks, then things will calm down rather quickly because we are still oversupplied.
What was your first reaction when you saw these brazen, blatant attacks over the weekend? I mean, just as somebody who's been in these energy markets for so long, what did this immediately say to you?
That it's serious, that the Iranians are definitely behind it. And then if you look at the satellite imagery, even if you're just an amateur sort of looking at the pictures, there was an awful lot of precision to the strikes on the series of tanks that are aligned on the ground, almost hit each tank in the exact same spot.
Wow.
That speaks to a high level of proficiency, a high level of being able to dial in exact coordinates like we are able to do, the U.S. is able to do with our longer range missiles.
And Amy, the White House has already said it sees Iran as being responsible for these attacks. What steps do you think are likely in terms of next moves here?
Well, you know, the White House faces a great challenge because is it Iran? Is it one of their proxies? You know, they have proxies on multiple borders. We had a missile, a rocket attack on Iraqi Exxon facility in southern Iraq as part of this sort of 2-year exchange of missiles and drones. So the question is, it's not a one-front war. If it is Iran, that's one front. They've got proxies in Iraq. That's the second front. You've got the active war between Yemen and Saudi Arabia, which is on the southern front. So the question is, you know, can this administration actually close off this dangerous activity for oil facilities? And we're not just talking about Saudi Arabia. We have to worry about oil facilities in the UAE and Kuwait. So we're talking about a major risk here. The facilities that were attacked in Saudi Arabia were chosen specifically because they're very hard to replace.
So, Amy, I wonder, too, I mean, as you're saying, and as you have both laid out, you know, this is a pretty sophisticated attack that takes out a major part of global oil production. Amy, is it your opinion, why would the Iranians do this? You know, at a time when the foreign minister was invited to the G7 summit, at a time when Bolton apparently left the White House because the president was thinking about sitting down with the Iranians. If they wanted diplomacy, they were close to it. What did they want to achieve here, as far as you can tell?
Well, you know, it is actually very shocking. So one thesis is that by knocking out the oil production in other countries, maybe they could isolate China or India or some weak player and break the coalition of people not buying their oil. Another theory might be just that this is an existential conflict, that the Iranians might have decided they're going to go for broke. They want to see governments fall in the Arab Gulf. Arab Gulf governments see them as a mortal threat. So, you know, maybe it's just an escalation in what has been a simmering conflict.